Let's see here.
And we're recording right now. So I'll be right back, ladies.
Hey, Jordan, what's up?
Oh. I was like, it isn't showing me the. Yeah. Yay! I got it to work. Okay, I say it all the time. Consistency is key. So that's what I named this little PowerPoint.
We need to keep it consistent, Courtney.
Yes, that's the key. One of the major things is tracking activity, because if you and I know, like, I've not been doing very well with keeping track like I like to lately, just because I'm overwhelmed with stuff. But I have my master list, and then I have my BAT, and I can't remember. I think it's Basic Activity Tracker. I don't remember what the B stands for, but yeah. So you have your master list with all the people that you know and everybody that they know, and continually adding to it. And I keep it up to date. I actually have mine in Excel, and I have a column that's just for last contact date. And I always update that when I contact people for whatever reason. And I keep all my notes in there. I keep track of interactions that I've had with them and any key notes about them that I think are important. Like, I know, like, I have notes in there if somebody's diabetic, or what their goals are for weight loss, or maybe there's a wedding for their sister, like in June, or I keep all kinds of little notes in a little notes section, and then I keep track of my contact date. That way I can actually organize and sort my data on my sheet by contact date, so I can see who I haven't contacted most recently, and I can keep up to date with everybody, and I know what everybody's business is that way. You know, maybe somebody says, well, I'm not ready yet because blah, 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 blah. I write that down because I got to remember that. Or if and I always write down what programs they're interested in too, or things about themselves, things that I think they'd be good for suggestions down the road. And then on the BAT, that's how I keep track of my weekly stuff. And I put my goals for the week on there, and my monthly goals are on there, because every week I'm trying to build to that monthly goal. And I keep track of all my challenge groups on there, what challenge groups I got going down, who's in my challenge groups. And that way I know who I'm supposed to be contacting and following up with, challenge group wise. And then any kind of like to-do list things that I might have for myself about the biz that week. Like, maybe it's like, oh yeah, you got to follow up with so-and-so on Tuesday. I'll have it on there for that week so that I know what's going on. I also keep track of it in my little monthly calendar too, so I have like the big picture. But when I'm working on my week and I'm doing my little power hour or power 30 minutes, whatever I got, I always pull out I have them in the same workbook. I have my master list and my BAT right there. Bam. So I can it up and go, who do I need to talk to?
What does BAT stand for?
We're going to ask Sam. She remembers what the B stands for, but I think it's
business activity.
It's an activity tracker.
Business activity tracker, maybe?
Yeah, this is like I actually have renovated it since then, but this is what mine basically looks like. And I keep track of what my rank is. So this is an old one. I have my rank, and I put like my goals, like when I wanted to reach Ruby and Emerald and Diamond, and what my challenge groups are, what dates they are. And down below that, I would have like who's in each of the challenge groups. And I keep track of all that good stuff. So this is what mine looks like. I think we have another one that's in Rising Stars. That's the one that's like from Beachbody. And that's usually the one that they give in whenever we do any of those like big group push for Emerald or push for Diamond groups. But I've since then like morphed it into something that I like, because I like being able to keep track of all sorts of things so that I can see. And consistently, the first one's like my problem, adding to my contact list. And so that's where I'm starting to work on like getting referrals. So quite a few of the few people I've added lately are like guys in the Navy that I was with. Now I'm friends with their wives, stuff like that. So.
Sure. I
So
met
that's
with
how I've been rolling.
remember my trainer friend that I was telling you about? So he came over, what was it, Tuesday? Because I just wanted to talk about like my plateau and stuff. And yeah, he's not all about the beach body, let me tell you. Like he didn't come out flat out and tell me, but he's all like, he's like, well, what do you think about the Shakeology? I'm like, well, I really like it. I said it makes my anxiety less. Like I just feel better. Like if my energy is leveled. He gave me his 2 cents about it, and I was like, well, you could just keep your 2 cents. I said.
Well, strange, because my next slide is about the power of the follow-up. Like a lot of these things are things that I've heard from Beachbody, like all sorts of classes I've gone to, and they started clicking this year finally. And the thing is no matter what, I mean, we're always following up with people, even if it's station. So we're following up with customers, potential customers, someone that, you know, has actually shown some interest. Maybe they've said something on your wall or said something to you in person, or somebody that you know personally that you think would be a great fit for a certain program, or maybe for being a coach. You want to make sure that you're always following up with them. When you sign on a new customer, they're brand new, so they need guidance. They need help. A lot of people have a hard time getting started, so it's good to find out what's the best way for them to get motivated. Some people like to get yelled at and pushed, and other people like gentle reminders.
Today I sent out a group message to anyone who has ordered from me, like, hey, we have another group starting, like, let me know if you want me to add you, like, if you've either started and stopped or you haven't really started yet, because I have 3 in there that have never really done anything with it. I'm like, why would you spend the money if you weren't going to invest in it? And none of them have said a word to me about it yet. So I just said, I'm like, if you guys want to private message me, I go, this is a group thread. I just do it as one group message. And that way they can kind of see that there's other people out there. Like,
yeah, a lot of times people will respond better to private messages just because, well, it's private. But a lot of people will do that. They'll start something and then it will take quite a few times. I've had customers that bought something and then they didn't use it, and now they're like go-getters. Like, I'm talking like years later. Now they're go-getters, and it's like, whoa, look what's trying to change. That's why it's really important to follow up, not just with new people, but with our old customers too. Just so you know, even if they are doing good, you know, maybe see them on social media doing pretty good or whatever. You can, you know, just to hit them up. Hey, how have you been? Because a lot of customers turn to coaches, so that's another important thing to remember about following up with our customers. Also, we can get referrals from them. You know, do you one who would like to join? I don't know. I don't know how many times I've had customers coming to me wanting to order 21 Day Fix, telling me that they're going to have more other friends ordering it. And it's like, whoa, you should have them order from you, but you're a customer. So, but always looking for referrals. Some people just do not want to come your way. That's awesome. And if they're not interested, maybe they know someone that's interested. Also awesome, because, you know, then you're adding to your group of people, you know, and your contacts. And always ask questions and make sure to listen to the answers, not to figure out what your next question is going to be, but to actually listen to it so that you know more about that person. Because my most success has been when the conversation's been completely, like, we are actually just talking and getting to like really get to know each other. Like, I just had a message last night with somebody I haven't spoken to in forever, and we were just common in the past, and I did not once bring up a program to her, not once. I did not. I asked her lots of questions, and I shared a lot of my story too, but I did not at one time even mention 21 Day Fix or Shakeology or anything, because we just started talking. But I asked her a lot of questions. I tried to end every message with some sort of a question to more conversation. And it was a great conversation. It takes a while to get the hang of actually asking questions. It sounds funny, but all these actions kind of perform a waterfall effect. You might not notice something happening right now because of it, but like, I've been so super busy. Like, this month was crazy busy. I had no time to do anything, and I got 6 Success Club points. And it wasn't like I was working super hard. It was because of all the months before that, everything that I've been doing. And then I was still staying fairly consistent last month with trying to keep at least my bar minimum activities going. And 6 Success Club points. I wasn't doing anything. At least I didn't feel like I was. But I think part of it was just that it's important to be open about who you are on social media and let people know about your journey and let them know your story. They're not going to know just because you might have posted it once. And I know we're not supposed to be obnoxious and post it a lot. Sometimes I probably get a little carried away with posting. But the thing is I think, no, I know most of the people who have come to me, or a lot of times when I start a conversation on Facebook with somebody, I do not bring up anything about their health, their fitness, nothing. They're the ones that bring it up to me. And I think it's because I do share my story on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and everywhere. But I share my story and I let people know like my progress. And so I think they feel comfortable bringing it up to me. And that's where people come from. Because even when you don't think they're watching, they're watching. You know, there's people
like Debbie Rui.
You ninja'd me. You ninja'd me. I did not know you were watching me so closely. And then when we talked on the phone, you were like, I've been watching you. See?
So when Debbie Rui messaged me, what was it, like maybe like 2 days ago, she was like, Cassie, you've inspired me so much. And I was like in tears because I was like, oh, I'm good. And she opened up to me about what's been going on with her, you know, with her health and stuff. And she's like, I'm sorry if I told you too much. I'm like, no, I was like, thanks for sharing. Like, I really appreciate you being open with me. And I kind of asked her a couple more questions from there, you know, but she was already like, nope, I'm ordering, like, we're doing this. And I was like, awesome. I'm like, that's because like, she's like she works like, I think 3rd shift. So she works kind of the funky hours. I'm like, that's doable. I said, we just got to kind of work your food schedule a little differently.
Yeah. See, and that's what's so awesome. That's what I love about being a coach. I love being able to connect because at a normal business, you can't pick who your customers are and you can't pick who you work with. And with Beachbody, you can, you know, and I get so giddy talking with people about stuff. And it's like, and I get so excited when I find somebody that I know is going to be an awesome customer and or coach. It's, and I get way more excited than I ever do about anything at work. So it's really important to make sure that we let people in on our journey. It doesn't matter what part of the journey you're on. In fact, the earlier in your journey you are, when you start sharing on social media, the better, because people will really start relating to it. You know, I didn't really start sharing until I was already almost done. So I'm all like, oh, look, this is how it was. But people can relate so much better, and they can actually feel like they're going through it with you when you share it along the way. So you share your progress, your achievements, your downfalls.
Yeah, don't forget the downfall. You know? Like, don't forget the brownie you ate or that bag of chips, because it makes it seem real.
Oh, the last 2 weeks, let me tell you.
Yep. And because we want to be a positive example. And we want to be inspiring, but we have to be
real.
To be. Yep. See, I even capitalized real because it's so true.
It's so funny so like I hadn't worked out in 2 weeks up until Monday. I did total body cardio. My legs are still killing me. Like before that, when I worked out, like my body wasn't getting sore at all. And now that's like back to being sore. I'm like, oh, dear Lord.
You posted something about that too. Or was that just a mix and match?
I think that was just a mix and match. I've been posting like a little bit about my falling off.
That would be a really good thing to share, like just right out there. Be like, you know, are you having a hard time? Like,
I'm waiting for my financial so I can buy heavier weights because my weights are too light for me at this point. So I'm like, for my upper stuff, I'm like, I need heavier weights.
And see, that's another great thing to share too, because that's a non-scale victory.
Right.
So there's
the biggest people I tell people my best,
like a lot of times we don't think about, because we're already like progressing and we don't think about it as like an actual achievement sometimes or that bad of a deal or something. But like for somebody that like is sitting there and constantly thinking about starting and they're not, for them, they actually can relate to that and be like, be able to be lifting, like going up a heavier weight, or I know how it feels to quit and start up again. And it's something that's really important. We need to definitely be real. We don't want to seem like we're perfect workout people that can just do anything and every single time it's easy and we love it. I mean, I hate getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Are you kidding me? So it's really important to be real, and also that your story is the best story for you to share, because it's you. People know you. So to share your story is the best, because we're not here to be a salesy person that's icky. We're here to help guide people, to help find the tools to reach their goals. We're independent sales consultants for Beachbody. Woo woo. And people don't like it when you get salesy, and we won't name any names, but we know we've been hit up a few times by other people on social media who have been super salesy, and you don't like it. You don't like feeling like you got a car salesman sneaking into your living room through your phone. No good. So remember, facts tell, stories sell. I was going to switch those words around. So part of that is being a product of the product. We're all good with that, but it's important just to remind everybody to pick a program and make sure you follow through with it. And you have your before and after pics and your measurements, and that you share your progress. You let people know what you're doing so that they know what's going on, and make sure that you know about your program. And if you're doing it, you'll know about it. And make sure if somebody's asking you questions that you're honest about how you feel. Like, I hate yoga. I will honest to God share that I don't like yoga. Or if there's a certain part, or I did that PiYo live workout yesterday. Seriously, that girl was way too darn my gosh. And I was barely able to tolerate her, so I'm pretty sure other people, if they were up at 5 o'clock in the morning trying to work out, and she was all like, woohoo, let's go. She's like, oh, Barbie doll happy. I'm honest. Yeah, you got to be honest about it. Like, I let people know my very first Shakeology drinking experience was with tropical vegan strawberry. And I thought strawberry was a good thing to have. Milkshake, right? I blended it with milk. It tasted like the nastiest chalk I've ever, like liquid chalk. It was disgusting. I was like, oh my God, I got a whole bag of this. But then I learned that you don't want to mix that with milk. It actually is really great with ice and juice. And maybe some strawberries, frozen strawberries is something. And then it tastes like a flippin' daiquiri. You just got to learn whatever your magical little formula is. So I share that. I don't like mixing it with milk. And actually, I don't even get that kind anymore because I like this. I'm honest about my opinions because people will trust you. You're not being fake with them, which makes sense. And make sure you're drinking Shakeology daily and learn all the details behind why it's so great, and which is something I'm still working on. But I've been learning a lot of things in my general nutrition class that have really helped shine light on why. And I also do think that's why I've only had 2 major sicknesses in the last 2 years. I had a really bad fever for like 24 hours, and then I had streptococcus. And twice a month.
I have not been sick either since him.
Allergies, like straight up for 2 years for sure. And really, I've only been like sick twice. So it's definitely, we have to be a product of the product. It's even Carl Deichler, our CEO, he's been drinking Shakeology every single day. And he always does the programs too, because he doesn't believe in selling something that he doesn't do himself. He doesn't believe in telling other people, hey, this is great, without actually doing it himself as well. So, and also we wouldn't know what we're talking about if we weren't a product of the product, and how would we be able to promote it if we're not sharing it in our stories? I wrapped that all in there. So bottom line, success does not happen overnight. I have been very slow at being a coach, and been more so like, being a mom and working and sort of being a coach, and then I just started like actually getting the hang of it. It was that prep for Summit, this last training session that we had with Lisa, that really kicked it into overdrive. It was like hearing it over and over again, and doing the personal developments and just hearing these things constantly. It's funny how I heard these things so many times, and I thought I was doing them, but I wasn't really doing them. And it just takes practice, doing things over and over again. And after a while, it builds up. Just like I was saying, how I really wasn't doing that much last month, but I got 6 Success Club points. Imagine I probably could have gotten way more points. But my internet connection is unstable. If anything happens, I just got a little thing. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. So everything that we do today, that does affect us down the road. So I know, like, if like say you drop off the grid for like a good month or 2, social media wise, and talking to anybody, you'll probably end up with a lull later on down the road. It's very likely, just from all the people that we're watching, because if they don't see that you're consistent, then they tend to think, oh, that doesn't work, or it's not going to be good for me because she couldn't stick to it or he couldn't stick to it. And it's important to remember that everyone matters. And even though you may not think somebody's watching you, there's people watching and they're waiting to get started. Some of them might not know how to go about asking. Some of them might just not be ready to ask for help yet, but there's people out there watching. So it's important to not write anybody off, no matter what. Unless they flat out have told you where to go and take your Beachbody, which, keep them on your master list, but make sure you write that in the notes. So
I when I have people on my master list I've talked to and I see them go to another coach, I'm like,
yeah. And it's also important to be careful when we are following or looking at talking to someone that we're not creating our own objections for them or suggest objections to them. It's one, we do need to be prepared for objections. And as Sam has said before, we look at those more as challenges, and that's where more question asking should come in. And of course, price is usually the key question that usually comes up, but there are so many reasons that the price question is really just, everybody is willing to spend money on stuff when they don't have money if they want it enough.
Yeah, think of all the people that go out and spend $100 at the bar on Friday night, but they're having a hard time paying for a challenge pack that's $140. So, like you said, it's a matter of priorities, and if it's a priority to them, and you make it seem that way.
And that's why we make sure that we're keeping track of what they're saying, what their goals are, why they want to do it, and because we need to be able to remind them of those things and bring them back. When we're bringing stuff back to them, it's important to tie in stuff that they've said, because one, it helps solidify things that they've said, and two, it also lets them know you were listening to them. It's, that way they know that you aren't just there for the sale, that you're actually there to talk to them, because none of us should be there just for the sale. Yes, we all are looking to get paid, but I know I personally, one thing I love about this business is that you can get successful without having to step all over and climb over people. This is a business that you can get successful by helping build everybody else around you up. And it just makes me really happy to know that that's the kind of business that Beachbody is, instead of some corporate world where you're clamoring and trying to backslap anybody that you can and stab them. And nope, not here. We're here to help each other. And so that's the most important thing. When we become more sincere for people, and that becomes our first focus, the rest of it just falls in place. Just like if you're eating right and you're working out and stuff, getting healthier and getting in shape, all that stuff just falls into place. It's just a matter of having priorities set. And just remember that not all conversations lead to a sale immediately. We lay out a lot of groundwork to be open when their whys are, because these are vital for future discussions. I make sure I write those down in my notes and get to know your contacts. People can sense when you're not sincere. That's, bottom line. People can tell if you're not sincere. You're just, all you care about is getting this challenge pack sold to them and getting back out the door and finding someone else to buy one. And we don't want to be those people. Dirty car salesman here. That's all I have. That's the last slide.
All right. Anything else before I stop recording?